The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, but as you already know, today is 306 degree F. So we got the one and only Dr. Michael Mantell is going to be, and he brought another absolutely fantastic guest that's going to educate our viewers, our listeners all around the world. Because the topic we're going to talk about today is so needed. How you doing, Dr. Mike? But I tell you what, I'm going to hold that thought because I got to get Toddy. We got to get all the platforms locked in at the same time. So, hey, Todd, let's do it. Hello. Welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And I tell you what, we got an absolutely fantastic, wonderful show coming your way today. And as you already know, it's 306 degree health. With none other than Dr. Michael Mantell. And I'm going to tell you right now that he had hit a home run. And that just at the first bat. I mean, he just home run. I parked already, because he has brought a guest on that I believe it's so important that we talk about this type of topic and others get a chance to understand that sometimes we might want to listen to things that might not seem to matter, but they will. So how you doing today, Dr. Michael?
Doing great. I am doing fine. It's always great to be with you both. And I understand this is our 96th show. 96th time we have been educating people all around the world, and today especially a topic that is so important in times that are so distressing and so much adversary, that I think we're going to learn some important ways of helping each other.
And this goes into Dr. Mike Mantell. The link is what you think. Because the topic we're going to talk about today is all about that topic. How you doing, Dr. Cooley? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Busy day, but love having 360 health days, 360 degree health, and excited about the guests we have today.
Dr. Michael Mantell, Michelle kicked me out, told me to jump on the plane, put me on the plane last night, sent me to California.
Well, here you are.
Unfortunately,
we got a cloudy day here, but still beautiful.
Oh yeah, Michelle, can you do the honors by introducing, first of all, whichever platform that you're watching us on, Was it E36 Television, Roku TV, Apple TV, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, and over 84 other platforms. Welcome to the show. If you want to be part of this conversation, a couple of ways you can do that. All you have to do is just go to the comments on whichever platform that you are watching us on, and plus we're on the radio as well. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Michelle, can you do the honors?
Yes. The topic today is how one conversation can save a life. Why listening matters more than we think. It's 360-degree day, and we're having a sit-down conversation with Dr. Stuart Katz. He is the chairman of OGEN, Advancement of Mental Health Awareness in Israel, and Mental Health First Aid Israel. He's also an author, a global speaker, and expert on trauma stress. He's going to discuss how talking openly about mental health and suicide actually reduces risk. So let's tell you a little bit about our special guest today. Dr. Katz is a global expert, again, on trauma stress and has a highly regarded program worldwide, Mental Health First Aid. He serves on the board of visitors at McLean Hospital, affiliated with Harvard Medical School. He has led efforts to expand mental health awareness across the world. He has personally counseled over 7,000 individuals and families in crisis and has dedicated over 1,200 hours of volunteer work to crisis support lines. An author and global speaker, he is the creator of Travel Therapy, a therapeutic approach that integrates the transformative power of travel with mental health and well-being. Please welcome to the show for the very first time, Dr. Stuart Katz.
Great.
How's that for a welcome?
That's amazing. Amazing. Truly amazing. I heard it all.
Good.
Doc, this is an amazing topic that you're going to talk about, just like Dr. Mike Mantell and what Michelle was talking about. So can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you, where you grew up, what make you click, what make this topic today, why should people just put all ears in this topic?
So it's not something that I or anyone else learned from a textbook. How to listen, I learned from people. Years of, whether it's sitting with individuals, watching individuals, just spending time with individuals who are struggling, there's something that I noticed that's very consistent. And the moment that things would shift for people wasn't when I was able to give advice or try to come up with solutions together. It was the moments when someone felt truly heard. And that often was for the first time. People would say things like, wow, this is the first time I've been able to say that out loud, or no one's ever listened to me like that before. And what I would see and continue to see over and over again was that when someone feels heard, their sense of being trapped starts to loosen. And by the way, I also noticed the opposite. When people would feel dismissed or rushed or fixed, they just shut down. The pain doesn't go away. It just goes underground. Sometimes it's called masking. But over time, it's become clear, and it's a work in progress. It's continuing to become clear to me that listening isn't passive. It's doing something very real. It's lowering distress, reducing isolation. And at times, it's actually interrupting moments of true danger.
When you say that listening, thank you, that was a great introduction, by the way. When you say that listening is not passive, give us a description of what is active about listening. Because I think our audience says listening, I just sit back and let the words come. But you're saying, no, it's active. Tell us about that.
So there's various different ways that you could, that I can think of, that I would say that listening is active. It's active when you're listening. Is active when you're doing something internally, even if you're not talking. Active listening means you're regulating yourself. So the other person opposite you doesn't have to. And you notice your urge to interrupt. We like to talk. We like to be heard, but you choose not to. it's when you're tolerating discomfort instead of rushing to try to fix it. You're actually tracking what the person is saying and not planning what you're going to say next. It takes effort. It takes restraint. It takes intention. By the way, active listening, I think, also means signaling in small but real ways. I'm with you. That might be a pause. It might be a nod, reflecting back a feeling, or saying something simple like, that sounds really heavy. None of that is passive. It's work. It's emotional work.
Mm-hmm. And so neurologically and emotionally, why does being truly heard calm our nervous system more than being advised?
There's so many reasons for that. It's everyone's made up differently, and advice doesn't actually reduce the isolation. Connection does. Our nervous system is continually asking one question. Our nervous system is always asking, am I safe right now? And when someone feels truly heard, their body gets a very powerful signal of safety. You could say that neurologically being heard reduces threat detection. The brain moves out of the survival mode, the fight, flight, or freeze mode. And then the brain moves into a state where regulation and connection are actually truly possible. Emotionally being heard tells us that we're not alone with the pain. That loneliness is one of the strongest activators of stress. So being heard doesn't just feel comforting. It actually biologically changes how the body responds to stress.
Do you think that there's any value in being heard, interrupting our own self-talk, our own, echo in our head, that we spin around the same negative words, the same demanding approach to life, that someone else hearing it helps us catch that maybe?
I want to say absolutely, but I don't want to rush with the answer. But let me say absolutely anyways. One of the most powerful things about being heard is that it does interrupt the echo chamber in our own minds. When someone is struggling, their thoughts often loop. It's the same fears, the same self-criticism, the same worst-case scenario playing over and over in our minds and our bodies. And that internal echo tends to grow louder in isolation when you're by yourself. I think COVID is a great example of that. And the mind fills the silence with judgment or fear or hopelessness. And when someone actually listens and reflects back what they hear, it breaks that loop, or it possibly could break the loop. So hearing your own thoughts spoken back calmly, non-judgmentally, it helps them organize it. It turns that noise into something that can actually be held. And just to go back neurologically, it moves the experience out of a closed internal loop and into a shared space. And emotionally, it reduces the feeling of being trapped in your own head.
Wow. I tell you, we're going to have to take a station break right now because I don't want to ask another question where it's going to be broken. This topic is so important that we have to do this. So I tell you, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of this great conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
With Dr. James J.C. Cooley. That's right. Oh, it's your life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. That's right. It's Dr. James J.C. Cooley. It's your life show. Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Dr. Michelle Cooley. Heart disease research saves lives. It's that simple. Thanks to medical advancements funded by the American Heart Association, more women are surviving heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular diseases than ever before. But there's still so much work to do.
Hi, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I'm raising funds to support life-saving research because every heartbeat is worth fighting for. In honor of Women's History Month, please join me in support of the American Heart Association and women's health.
That's right. Are y'all ready? It's Dr. James J.C. Cooley. It's your life. That's right. Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and just like as you already know, the link is what you think, and this topic right here fits in. But we're not getting to the link is what you think, but that's the next segment. But what we're talking about today, I believe, is so important that Dr. Katz and Dr. Mike is sharing, and it's all about a lot of things. And one of the things that I saw that you mentioned in the comments, Dr. Mike, is about suicide. Many people worried that talking about suicide or deep distress might put the idea in someone else's head. What does the research really shows, Dr. Katz?
So the research is very clear. It's not ambiguous. Asking about suicide does not put it into someone's head. It does not increase the risk about suicide. Let me be extremely, extremely clear about that. Multiple studies, hundreds, thousands of studies probably show that asking directly about suicide, and when I say asking directly, it's not asking, hey, are you thinking of maybe hurting yourself? No, it's, are you thinking about suicide? That's asking directly. It does not plant the idea in anyone's head, and it also does not make things worse. You're not going to make it worse. For many people, it's actually it brings a relief. All of a sudden, it gives them permission to name something that they're carrying so heavy. What increases the risk of suicide is silence, leaving people alone with their thoughts. That actually increases the risk. So responsible conversation lowers the distress level and increases safety.
You mentioned silence just right now. From a trauma perspective, why does silence or avoiding often increase risk rather than reduce it?
Well, you think about it. When you have trauma, it has nowhere to go. It's going to grow louder. It's going to get louder if it has nowhere to turn. Trauma lives in isolation. And when pain is unnamed, when we have a pain that's unnamed, it doesn't disappear. It just echoes internally inside of us. So silence reinforces the belief that pain is unacceptable or it's unsafe to share. That's what it does. And in turn, it continues. It deepens the shame. It makes hopelessness more lively. So speaking about it actually breaks the isolation, and being heard interrupts the sense of being trapped. So be very clear about it. Silence doesn't protect people. It actually, what protects people is connection.
I just have one question, Dr.
Yeah,
Katz.
sure.
There are cultures and families, and it may be generational, that do not believe in seeking help, or maybe they don't have the tools to be able to listen to somebody else when they're talking this way. And, cases where, you need to man up. You've got such a great life. What are you complaining about? Like, they don't listen, and the person's trying to tell them how they feel. That's an issue too. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think it's sad. I think it's very sad. Let me start by saying that. It's something that comes up all the time in many cultures around the world. And the first thing is to approach it with respect rather than with judgment. as we know, in many families and cultures, we call emotional silence developed as a survival strategy. You know, the whole man up concept. People learned to be strong, or they were told they had to be strong because they had to. There wasn't space for them. There wasn't space. There wasn't safety. There was no time. They had no time to fall apart. So when someone says to man up, or we don't talk about it, that doesn't affect our family. It's not meant as cruelty. What it is it's fear. It's a belief that talking about the pain is going to make it worse, or threaten the stability or ruin the family name. And the problem is that what once helped people survive can over time actually prevent people from being heard. So what we want to do is we want to gently name the impact. When someone tries to share how they feel and they're met with be strong or get over it, it'll pass, the message they receive is the pain doesn't belong here. And that's not going to make the pain go away. It's just going to push it inward.
So when you're talking to someone and you suspect that they are dealing with, let's say, something as dramatic as suicide, but they won't admit it. Have you been thinking of suicide? No. Tell us what the average person who's listening, not a mental health professional, but the average person listening says. What can they do when you believe that the person is not being truthful?
So I say what I really feel is that, first of all, you want to believe them, because you want to earn and maintain their trust. But you also, the first thing you want to do is you want to stay calm and be direct with that. You don't want to accuse them. You don't want to go in a state of panic. You don't need to force a confession. What you did by asking the question is you opened a door. You opened a door that, maybe they're not ready to trust you yet. Maybe they're shocked that you're saying that. So you open the door, and it takes time. And you don't have to have the right words when you ask them, but I want you to understand how you're doing and that I care about you. And the next time you ask them, you can say to them, or what I like to say is, if these thoughts ever come up for you, I hope you won't be scared by telling me.
Could you just repeat that again?
Yeah, if those thoughts ever come up, I don't want you to be scared by telling me, but even more than that, if those thoughts ever come up, you won't scare me by telling me. What it does is it keeps the door open.
Right. See, I think that's the point of this, that we're not talking about turning the everyday listener into a mental health professional.
Not at all.
We're not talking about clinical treatment. We're talking about friends, family, neighbors being able to sense something and be available to hear someone else's difficulties, distress, pain. And I think you said it beautifully, but I think the message is we're not here to train everyday listeners to be clinical treatment providers. There's a place for that, of course, but this is an important point. Anything more you want to say about that?
Yeah, it's just important to remember that you don't need to get someone to admit everything. You just need to make it safe for them to tell the truth when they're ready. And even if they don't open up right away, you're staying present with them and checking in again and not disappearing on them can make a real difference.
So you are you are chairman of the Mental Health First Aid in Israel, and you work all around the world, of course. And mental health first aid has been described as CPR for the mind. What makes early, and I'm going to emphasize the word compassionate, listening so effective before a crisis escalates?
So let me just give a little background on mental health first aid. It's a program that was developed in Australia 25 years ago. Today, it's now in 51 countries around the world, and we man it in Israel. And it's, as you refer to it, it's CPR for the brain, and it's something that everyone, I say every citizen, anyone with a pulse has a responsibility to learn, because you never know when you're gonna feel it, so that or be able to use it. And to go back and answer your question, what makes early compassionate listening so effective is it works because it intervenes before the nervous system tips into survival mode. When someone is struggling and they're not yet in crisis, their system is still flexible, like the rest of their body. You know, we have the physical body and the mental, psychological, emotional body. And just like our physical body is flexible, you know, our bones are flexible if they're not broken. So is our nervous system. It's also flexible. Now it can be overwhelmed, it can be discouraged, sometimes it can be isolated, but it hasn't yet reached the point that feels urgent and permanent, or it's all or nothing. So the compassionate listening at that stage before crisis mode, it does all these powerful things at once.
Very interesting. We have a couple of minutes left, and I'm just curious about you mentioned signs of emotional distress at the earliest level. I want to be able to equip our listeners as to what to look for signs of emotional distress that ordinary people ordinarily might overlook. We just have about a minute and a half left. Anything pop into your mind before we take our break?
Yeah, so what's important to remember when you talk about emotional distress, we're not looking for diagnoses, we're looking for changes. Right. And it shows up as a shift from someone's usual way of being. For example, withdrawing from people or activities they used to enjoy, repeatedly canceling plans, someone that's going to isolate more than usual. And there's also behavior changes. There's changes in mood or emotional tone, like increased irritability, anger, emotional numbness. Someone may be more tearful or just flat than usual. They seem hopeless or overwhelmed. There could be some changes in their communication, like I'm tired of everything. What's the point? Right. Or negative self-talk, or right. The opposite, being unusually quiet or talking nonstop. Right. Both of those. Other changes could be trouble sleeping or sleeping too much, difficulty concentrating.
And these are the things that ordinary people can spot easily. They see it.
It's very visible to the mind, and we just want to be on the lookout for them. Right. Someone that's increased risk-taking is when people don't realize more alcohol or substance use, reckless driving, or any kind of reckless behavior.
Can you hold that thought? We got to take a station break.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to come back. We got a lot more. Dr. Katz, we're going to talk about. And I tell you, I hope you're enjoying this great discussion. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on. Ask any questions, or pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. It's your life. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit more about the link is what you think. So we'll see you shortly after the break.
The future is here. Now is the time to pursue the greatness in you. Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith meets future. We are a fully accredited, 100% online Christian university. We offer bachelor's degree, master's and doctorate degree programs, built for students like you. Affordable tuitions, 30+ degree programs, 100% online and flexible, integrating faith with learning. Study from anywhere at your pace. At VCU, we do not just prepare you for a degree. We prepare you for purpose. Discover who you are, grow in faith, and build a future that impacts the world.
Are you ready to start your journey today?
Visit www.viridianchristianuniversity.com. Apply today and be among the global leaders.
really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Are y'all ready for the Dr. James JC It's your
Hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and as you already know, that the link is what you think. 360-degree health day, and we got this absolutely fantastic guest on that's talking about a lot of things that I believe that is so important to all of us, and it ties into just this short segment that we do every week. As the link is what you think. Yeah, so it's Dr. Michael Mantell have wrote a book, actually several books, but the link is what you think. Doc, what you got for the audience today?
Well, again, I want to welcome everyone to the Link is What You Think segment. I wrote the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, back in 1988, and this one more recently. And I wrote the original Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, I should say. And today I turn to page 238. I'm not sure what the meaning of that is, but there's probably some interesting spiritual meaning to that. But in any case, this is tough times. Number one, going through a tough time, and who isn't? Be sure you aren't asking, why me? Instead, challenge, try me. What can I learn from this? Going through a tough time, number two, what's it got to do with how you choose to make yourself feel? Number three, going through a tough time? Maybe that's the problem. You're going through it, not growing through it. Number four, going through a tough time? God doesn't promise a smooth flight, just a safe landing. And number five, going through a tough time, the only way to reach a peak is with a good base camp. Choose your friends wisely. If one of these ideas has even sparked one thought of a way to live better, then mission accomplished. And what I want to be sure that you do when you finish this segment is stay curious, stay kind, and don't sweat the small stuff. It'll all be okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
So I wanted to get into a little bit about shame, because shame can certainly make us feel worse. And shame can also interfere with our ability to ask for help, to let someone else know what we're going through. And I'm wondering what Dr. Katz thinks about the role that shame plays in our lives, how we talk ourselves into making ourselves feel worse because we shouldn't be feeling this, or this means that I'm a low life or something.
Wow. Yeah, it really does. Shame has got to be one of the biggest barriers to asking for help, literally everywhere. It really becomes especially powerful in places that are living under prolonged stress. Shame tells us that if I was stronger, this wouldn't be happening. And once shame takes hold of us, people don't stop needing help. They stop asking for it. And so what shame really does, shame doesn't say something bad happened to me. It says something is wrong with me.
Right.
And that shift can be devastating. And again, instead of reaching out, people hide. They minimize the shame. They push through it. They don't say, I need help. They say, I should be able to handle this. Like, what's going on?
Right.
It turns the pain into personal failure.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was making, that somehow we go from like, this shouldn't, must not, ought not be happening, and this means that I'm not worthwhile. I'm a no good human being.
Right.
Faith comes in, and for those who have strong faith, they believe the one above is directing all this, and there's a good reason I'm going through this. I'm learning. We are going through dark times, of course. But one way to look at it is we're going through dark times. Another way is we're going through meaningful times. Shame, no, I can learn from this. Now you are in Israel. You live in Israel, and you're
Right.
dealing with frontline trauma of all kinds. Over 7,000 people you've dealt with in your professional life. Can you give us an example of some of the trauma, stress that you're helping people move through?
Yeah. So what we see in Israel often is it's ongoing trauma. I mean, that's where we live. But there's often this unspoken pressure to stay functional. People tell themselves and tell each other as well, everyone's dealing with this. I don't get to fall apart. And that belief actually sounds very strong on the outside, but you know what? Internally, it increases the isolation that we've been talking about. So and we see this with parents who are holding families together, and these parents are constantly carrying their own fear. They're continual fear. You see it with young adults in the Army, college. They're expected to be resilient. They're supposed to be capable, ready to go at any minute. And their nervous systems are exhausted. They just can't go on anymore. We see it with the first responders, with the reservists in the military. They have to be steady. They have to be ready for everyone, anytime, every time of the day. And then, see it with civilians like myself. And others have it worse. I shouldn't complain. And that comparison, that silences people. It doesn't make them deal with the trauma. The trauma tells the nervous system you're not safe. And the shame then adds a message, and you're weak for feeling this way. And you have these two things that combine. People don't reach out then. They shut down.
So how does active listening play a role in restoring dignity to someone who feels broken?
That's a great question. The trauma overwhelms the system, and shame isolates it. And this is where listening becomes so powerful. And when someone listens, and I keep using the term non-judgmentally, because listening, we listen to what the person says, and all of a sudden we form our own opinion. It's very, very important to listen non-judgmentally, and that's actually one of the key strategies in mental health first aid is listening non-judgmentally. And when someone listens without judgment, or without fixing, or without minimizing, it actually interrupts the shame. It puts it on pause, and it replaces the phrase "something is wrong with me" with "wait, something has happened to me." And it makes that sense, and it makes sense that I feel this way.
And maybe, if I can interrupt, maybe it's not so much as something is happening to me, but rather something here is happening for me.
Okay.
How about that one? What do you think about that?
Yeah, you could say something's happening for me. That brings more of the spiritual you referred to before.
Yeah.
But then the end result is it makes sense that I feel this way, whether it's happening to me or for me. And that shift alone can reopen the door for help.
Yeah. I tend to take a more spiritual approach to this, and helping someone say, this is not happening to me. I'm not being punished. This is not because I'm a bad person. There's a lesson. Now, when they flip their thinking into that, boy, oh boy, they're going in a very different direction than going downhill. They're elevating themselves. I'm curious as to how many helpers fear that they're going to say the wrong thing. So how do you help people in mental health first aid in Israel and all around the world trust that their presence matters more than their perfect words? How do you train people to do that?
Yeah, it's a common question and concern. It's the fear factor. And when I say something anyways, open your mouth, because silence is riskier than imperfect words. You got to say something. And people don't need to find the perfect language. I say the wrong things many times. But what people need, especially in crisis or on the way to crisis, they need presence and honesty and care. The honesty and the care matter more than getting it exactly right. We're not here to find the perfect words. You don't need the right words. You need presence.
And now in healthcare, we talk a lot about, we had a guest on, and a good friend of mine, Dr. Purv Gupta, and he has an organization called the Loving Organization. We talk a lot about people want to be taken care of rather than be treated. And this is, you're saying the same thing in a beautiful way. So what have you learned about, we'll call it secondary trauma, where listeners can protect their own mental health while supporting other people?
So secondary trauma it's real. And we see it so often. It's something we don't talk about. It happens, just for listeners that don't know, it happens when you're not the one exactly in danger, but your nervous system's absorbing the stress. Examples of this, like parents worrying about their children and partners carrying fear for their loved ones, or professionals listening to hard stories.
Right.
So the nervous system doesn't always distinguish between what we experience directly and actually what we're caring for others. People with secondary trauma will say things like, hey, I shouldn't feel this way, nothing happened to me. And in essence, their body is actually telling a different story. And, it can be very silencing, the whole secondary trauma, because
this is the point of burnout. This is where professionals get burnt out.
Right.
JC, are you going to jump in here with us?
Yeah. We got to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We still got another segment. So I tell you what, if you want to be part of this conversation, not too late. All you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on, comments, as you already know, or make it easy for you. Pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
That's right. With Dr. James. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James JC Cooley. Yeah. Come on. One, two. It's your life with Dr. James JC Cooley. Yeah. All right. Your life with Dr. James JC Cooley. Are y'all ready for the show? Are y'all ready for the show? It's your life with
Hello,
Dr.
hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, I tell you. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And Dr. Mike, you did it again. I know you hit a home run in the first at bat. But this guest right here, if his schedule permits, we got to have him back on. I mean, if his schedule permits, and if he have time in the schedule, I know he's flying all over the world, and
He is.
educating the world. But I would love to have him back on, Dr. Mike, if his schedule permits. Yes.
And we will be good listeners.
Before we get back in the segment, I want to say we are right at 5 weeks out from heading back to the kingdom in Ghana. For those of you that don't know, I am the ambassador of Central Africa and also sub-king of the Agapta, Kasawa Kingdom in West Africa. And I will be heading back for my father installment, and Michelle will be heading back to be crowned queen of the kingdom. So we're looking forward to that. That's happening in February. And if God's willing, we're heading back to there. Because it's all about saving lives and all about uplifting others and all about what you're talking about, Dr. Katz. Being able to listen, being able to share ideas, and being able to let people know that you care. So I want to mention that. And also the link is what you think. If you haven't went out and bought Dr. Mike Mantell books, and I know Dr. Katz got a lot of books that he has out there. He might tell you about them. But go out and purchase their books because it's only going to help you better when you lack understanding. I'm turning it back over to you, Dr. Mike.
All righty, great. I appreciate that. And we'll talk about where we can get Dr. Katz's books. Mine, of course, is on Amazon and all that stuff. But so I want to ask you something about listening. If listening were treated not as a soft skill, but as a moral responsibility that we have, and you sort of hinted at that before we began the show, how might that reshape how we care for one another? And how would the divisiveness and the strife we see wherever we look, everywhere on this planet, how would that be different if listening was a moral responsibility, not just a nice, soft skill?
So, first of all, the short answer is it would fundamentally change how we see one another. Right now, listening is treated as optional. It's something you do if you have time, if you have patience, you have the emotional capacity. But a moral responsibility of listening means I owe you because you're human, because you have a pulse. So how it would change between people? Well, let's see. We'd probably stop treating distress as an inconvenience and we start treating it as information. Care would shift from actually fixing and persuading to understanding, to accompanying someone. And instead of asking the question, who's right, we'd ask what happened to you. So the short answer to your question is listening as a moral responsibility says your experience matters, even if I don't agree.
So am I living in a bubble? And the answer, of course, is yes, but join me, there's room. But am I living in a bubble to think that a guest such as yourself, with all of the amazing worldwide impact that your heart brings to the work you do all over the world, that we are uplifting, as JC said, we are uplifting one another, that this is having an impact?
If you're in the bubble, I'm in there with you.
Good.
And I'm not going anywhere. I want to stay there.
Good.
I believe that if we listen to one another, it doesn't mean we have to agree with one another. In Israel, I say we live in a rather unfriendly neighborhood, but part of that is because we don't listen to one another. Who can talk the loudest? And we wait for our turn to talk, but we don't wait for our turn to listen. And if we spend more time listening to one another rather than arguing or disagreeing, the bubble would become real. So people often feel unheard long before they become angry. But if listening were expected instead of being admired, and not optional, but expected, we'd see less escalation and more regulation. It's families in family life. They would argue less about conclusions and talk more about their feelings. The communities, they'd slow down instead of labeling and canceling. Our world leaders would be evaluated not just on what they say, but how well they listen. And most importantly, people would feel less alone. And that's one of the greatest protective factors we have.
So what does a culture look like in a school or a workplace or families or a community, a neighborhood, where a listening culture has really been developed?
I would say that's where people ask for help, where they feel protected. And if leaders if our leaders, the teachers, the principals, the key players, if they were to model vulnerability and they would encourage check-ins and responding with support rather than with judgment, that would be a game changer. Safety has to be visible. And we can find that culture changes when leaders model safety.
So 2 questions left before the segment's over. One, for someone who's listening right now, who's struggling silently, what do you want them to know about being heard?
I'm going to say the person that's with them, I want them to know that that person that you're referring to doesn't want to die. They want the pain to stop. That's real important to understand. And that person needs to know that they're going to be listened to, that they're going to be heard. And when we understand that, as a society, we'll respond with greater compassion instead of with fear.
We have probably a minute left. I'm waiting for JC to pop in here. And here he is right now. So, JC, I'll turn it back to you and thank Dr. Katz for an incredibly uplifting, inspiring conversation.
Real quickly, Dr. Katz, if people want to get in touch with you and get your book. So
JC can't hear you. JC cannot hear you.
Testing.
Whoops.
You cannot hear me?
Hey, we can't hear JC. But Dr.
Okay,
Katz,
well,
hear him now. Oh, Michelle.
well, I am here,
Can't
and
hear you either.
you can't hear me. Oh, wait a minute.
I hear you. I hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. And I heard JC too.
Oh, okay, Dr. Mantell. Well, thank you.
Hey, Dr. Katz, can you tell our viewers and our listeners how can they get in touch with you, get more information about your books?
Yeah, my book's on sale on Amazon, Travel Therapy. It can be bought on Amazon. And they can get in touch with me via WhatsApp at it's 516-636-1618. Again, 516-636-1618.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. You're invited back if you're scheduled to meet Dr. Mike. Always, my brother. Thank you. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. I'd like to thank my producers in San Diego and Dallas. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard, and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life, and we'll see you then.